Arm wrestling day, piss and vinegar day 121. So last week's side pressure was a bit too painful. I think I only did one set or something. I think it was just one set. So last week was the recovery. I just didn't really do side pressure. And then hopefully today it'll all be ready to go and ready to really get back into it. So up to 46.5 kilos, but just warming up. Oh. All right, top set, 46.5, not too shabby, 100 pounds. Todd Hutchings says 100 pounds is a 1 rep max is competitive level. I'm doing sets of 5x5 with 102 pounds, so I think my side pressure is officially in a pretty competitive state. Everything else probably not so much, but my ability to just push raw strength to the side, I think, is getting pretty good, man. I'm hoping by probably maybe mid-year next year to be doing the whole stack, which is 70 kilos, and that's an elite level side pressure. I've also got music playing today in hopes that the audio, I've got it a little bit quieter until I get my wireless headphones. Hopefully having it somewhat quiet, it doesn't copyright strike me too much, but it might be too loud, I don't know. Honestly, if you're interested in training side pressure, the way I've done it, and it's worked tremendously well, no advanced programming whatsoever. I just simply do 5 sets of 5 once a week, like any other novice or beginner, where you would do, say, squats 5x5 or just novice 5x5 programming. If you haven't checked out my novice programming, check it out. But I just train like that, except unlike a novice program with squats where you'd be squatting 3 times a week, benching twice a week, doing these compound movements 2-3 times a week, because it's side pressure and it's so tendon heavy, I started off just doing once a week and still am only doing once a week. And at this point now, it's getting to the point where I have to do 3 weeks on, 1 week off because I'm getting too strong. Now, in saying that, even though my side pressure level is far beyond novice now, I'm still milking the linear progression gains from 5x5. It's not like a squat where at a certain point, pretty early on at least, you start to stall out, and then you have to keep getting more and more complicated with the programming to get neurological adaptations. With this, I've been able to get all the way to a pretty competitive level, what would be probably intermediate or advanced in powerlifting or bodybuilding terms. So if you want to get good at side pressure, just keep it simple. Do 3 sets of 5, 5 sets of 5. Start off real light, maybe 2-3 sets of 5. Slowly condition your elbow tendons, and then work up to 5 sets of 5 when you can. And just slowly progress it, 1.25 kilo increments at a time or 2.5 kilo increments at a time. And yeah, if you're training anything like me, or you respond anything like I have to this, you will gain a lot of strength really quickly and consistently, and you won't need a hell of a lot of complex programming. I know Todd Hutchings, and obviously all respect to him because he is the side pressure king, and this is probably a better way of doing it. He's very complex with it. He does numerous different variations of side pressure. He does, speed days. He basically does the West Side Barbell program for powerlifters in a side pressure context. And that's probably the best way of doing it because he's the best at side pressure. But if you're not willing to do all that work just for side pressure, then this is a better option. Now, if I was just an arm wrestler, that's what I would do. I would do the West Side barbell method that Todd Hutchings does. But because I do bodybuilding and all this other stuff, and I don't have time or the energy or recovery requirements or capability for such intense arm wrestling specific training, I can't do that. So I do this instead, and I can mix bodybuilding with arm wrestling this way without being overtrained too much or at all. Yep, that's not a problem now. Last week, that was painful, having a hard time even moving that weight. Took a week off, or didn't do anything more than one set last week, and now totally hyper recovered and ready to go even harder. And this is one of the things that I've noticed in arm wrestling is, it's so, your technique and the moves that you use is so dependent on your physicality, and people become very dogmatic about what move is better and what technique is better, and failing to understand that everyone has different leverages and hand size and all these different things. One of the biggest ones that is strange to me is Devin Lorat really being pretty much anti-side pressure. And it's strange, but I get it because he's 6'5" and he has 8.5-inch hands or 9-inch hands. So he's never had to use side pressure as his main weapon because he's always taller and longer. He can always make it the hand battle. But that's the thing. That's because he's 6'5". If he was 5'11", like Todd Hutchings with a smaller hand, he would then obviously understand that side pressure is much more of a reasonable approach, or a much more appropriate approach for that physical build. Todd Hutchings is a thick, shorter, not shorter because he's still 5'11" is taller than average, but in the weight class he's in, or the weight classes that he arm wrestles in, it's a small guy. He's a small guy. So he can never win the hand game. He hasn't got the hand length, the hand size, and the arm length. But he uses what he can do, and that's side pressure. So people are always shitting on side pressure because it's less safe, and it starts, and the battle starts in the hand. That's all good and well, but when you're like a guy like me who has these incredibly short fingers, it's a massively uphill battle, and I'm very unlikely to ever really beat anyone in the hand if they are the same size as me, but then also have bigger hands. So you got to find a different way to win. Shit. And even as good as Todd Hutchings' side pressure is, people don't realize there's a lot of technique and other things going into his side pressure. He's very strong at top rolling. He's got a shit ton of back pressure. It just gets applied through side pressure. But if you look at him, he often, especially recently, he ends his matches with a hand that's cupped back, or his hand gets exposed, but it's pronated, and he's pronating through side pressure. So people underestimate his back pressure and top roll or pronation. It's just that his hand, yes, always gets, you never see him hooked in unless the other guy's trying to hook him, but you never see him take the hand control. But he does take the hand control through pronation, and then combining that with incredible amount of side pressure, he gets, he's fucking incredible at the moment. He's been incredible for years, but especially right now, he's really nailing it. But that's the thing, I do side pressure, and I'm very much trying to overcompensate with side pressure, but that doesn't mean I'm not also trying to train my cup and my pronation. I mean, I train my right hand's pronation every single day, mainly because Todd Hutchin has such great side pressure combined with side pressure, or pronations combined with side pressure. I think that's a very strong combination to have. Your ability to push to the side whilst also rotating through. There is something very powerful to that, demonstrably through Todd Hutchins' arm wrestling career. So, yeah, I'm trying to get my pronation and side pressure as elite as I can, because cupping and finger work is much more of a long hand guy's game. Alrighty. Fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, definitely getting some, that's one thing about side pressure is you will start to develop some tendonitis in where your elbow attachment is on the ulna. So it's, you know, if it's worth it, it's great for massively increasing your elbow stability and ability to drive sideways. But if not, have a deep think about it, because it is painful. And I think it's also contributing to what I think is bicep tendonitis, or what I thought was bicep tendonitis, when in reality it's actually deep elbow, you know, potential scarring or cartilage, or just whatever the fuck it is, you know, through the bicep and through wrist flexion, I'm getting some tendonitis. And that's, you know, that's part of just arm wrestling in general, whether or not you're a side pressure guy or not. But I mean, I'm definitely getting that from the side pressure. So that is one thing you really want to consider before you start doing side pressure is, are you willing to deal with the tendonitis? Ah, man. Fucking cunt. This one a little bit too, not nowhere as much though. This one's just from, you know, arm wrestling with the left, and also I have hypermobile elbows, so that's part of it too. But an amalgamation of things, say all that. I have a tendency now to rest way too much between my drop sets. Really do not want to rest much between drop sets, if at all. So that's a big mistake on my part. now that I'm doing these narrated videos, I just get ahead of myself and start talking between drop sets. Need to stop doing that. Oh shit. Man, my dog's back is getting jacked. Holy shit, hold on. Hopefully he doesn't move. Stay there, buddy. Just look away. Look that way, buddy. Wait, no. He was sitting in a way, the lighting doesn't do it justice. It's the same with my physique. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. I've been feeding my dog specifically just 99%, well not 99%, but probably about 90% meat lately. I don't think grains are good for anyone, but especially dogs. They're extremely carnivore based. If you're a vegan and you're feeding your dog vegetables, you're a fucking piece of shit, and fuck you. But yeah, I've been feeding my dog 90% meat, and he's becoming stronger, he's becoming more athletic, he's happier, and he's looking more muscular. He's packing on the size, so good for him. It's more expensive though, but if you love your dog, I'd highly suggest weaning them off grains and, you know, kibble, and give them mostly meat. Bit of kibble for the fiber and all that, but yeah, I think humans and dogs should probably mostly just be eating meat. I eat carbs because I'm into bodybuilding, but if I didn't care about bodybuilding and I just wanted to be lean and happy, I would probably go carnivore with a bit of berries for vitamin C. Oh. Fucking hell, dude. Oh man, that is by far the most painful move I do. It's so simple, but so effective. The forearm pump, the hand pump, it just gets everything. Dead hangs with fat grips are fucking immense. Might do a bit of a rest pause. Oh, do a drop set. Oh, that's too, shit, that's painful, man. Whew. So I was just thinking about something the other day. I was talking to a friend who is a rock climber and new to lifting. And rock climbers, when they start lifting weights, get these huge forearms because they have been building up the nuclei from the low intensity of climbing all the time. Anyway, he told me he measured his forearms, and he said his forearms were, what was it, like 14 inches? I'm like, man, you've only been lifting for a few months. Like, that's fucking huge. And then I said, but how are you measuring it? And he told me that he was doing it the standard, not the standard way, this way I see a lot of people measure their forearms, and it's the inaccurate way. It gives you such a fake reading. So the way he was doing it is this way, the way where you squeeze your biceps together and you get the biggest circumference and you fucking get it like that, and you kind of, it's not even fully straight, and I can't even do it. It's like, fucking, people do this, they use the bicep and all that meat to squeeze it up as high as they can, and you end up getting 15-inch fucking reading, which is absolutely not how big my forearms are. The way you measure your forearms accurately is straighten your arms, cup your wrist in. Simple. Don't bring, the further you bring it up here, the more it squeezes the meat out. So straighten your arm, cup in, and fuck. this is not the best way to measure them either with a fucking tape measure. Use a proper measuring tape, but you bend your arms and you straight, I can't even get this fucking thing. Bend your arms, cup in, and 13 and a half. So half an inch smaller than this fucking stupid shit that people see people doing, where you get, you know, an inch, 2 inches, and depending on your body fat percentage, even more. So make sure that when you measure your body parts, everything is equal. Make sure you're not fucking around and getting false progressions or regressions through your measurements. Oh, fuck, man. Ooh, yeah. What's going on here? My contraption isn't feeling quite as good anymore. Something's going wrong with it. Fuck. Feels like a lot of friction on there. So one of the reasons I like this machine is it works on your wrist stability and hand stability through pronation. So people think of pronation as simply losing your forearm part, so your arm rolls out. But part of that is there is no connection from the ulnar to the hand. It's all through the radius. So even if your arm doesn't rotate out, your hand can. So my arm is staying straight, my hand can essentially pronate, for me, about an inch. So losing your pronation starts with the hand and then the arm goes with it. It starts at the thumb, really. The thumb is very malleable. That's why when people, arm wrestlers, say that guy has strong hands or, you know, solid hands. For a long time, I didn't know what that meant. What it meant is their hands don't fucking move. They're not soft, they're like farmer hands. They just rock, they don't move. So your ability to not move through the thumb, your ability to not move through the joint is very important. And using a karate belt doesn't train that, or at least trains that very minimally. So I found using this device where I have to grip and solidify the hand and wrist is far more accurate. You know, there's plenty of benefits from the rope attachment too. It goes through the thumb more. But this, I don't fail through the pronator quadratus so much. Or, I mean, sorry, the pronator teres, or the pronator quadratus, which is at the wrist. I just fail through hand structure. My hand starts to totally give out, and then my arm gives out. So this variation of pronation gives you a totally different benefit to the, you know, karate belt attachment, or at least works the wrist stability far more. Oh, that's friction as fuck. What the fuck's going on there? Oh, I know what's going on there. Ah, fuck it, I'll finish the set. Nah, it's too hard with the friction. This is too far up the rack. Fuck. Oh well, all good. Just finish the set off. That's easy now. I decided I'm gonna do two sets today, just because I feel like I fucked up those first two sets with all this friction and wasn't training as intense as I could have. I was distracted by that fucking up, so I'm gonna do 2 sets, which is something I never really do. But in the case that something goes wrong or I can't fully get the most out of that set, then I do 2 sets, very seldom. Oh, fuck. Oh, wow. Oh, oh, fuck. I think Engin Terzi was what made me want to get or build that machine. Yeah, it was, because he's such a pronation god, and he uses that machine religiously. He has one, it's far better than this one. And I think he does like 50 kilos. I can't remember if that's a 1 rep max or if he did that for reps or not. I can't remember, but either way, it's very impressive. What I just did with my right arm for 10 reps was 40 kilos, but I can't imagine that the machine that I'm using is the same resistance as his. Mine must be lower resistance, or his must be higher, or maybe I'm missing something, because I can't imagine that I am doing, similar weights to Engin Terzi on the pronation. I mean, maybe my training's going really well and I just don't know it because I don't arm wrestle people, not yet at least. But I can't see it. He's such a freak pronator guy. Like you see him do his pronator flex and all that. He's one of the top 3 of all time. All right, see you guys tomorrow for more Piss and Vinegar. Bye.